Here's your wrestling news for August 27th, 2021. And your headlines for today include Brock Lesnar new WWE contract details revealed, how often Brock Lesnar will wrestle under new WWE contract, USA Network not happy about Raw losing Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch, what happened with CM Punk after AEW Dynamite went off the air, CM Punk dropped Easter eggs for Bray Wyatt and Adam Cole on AEW Dynamite, former WWE wrestler says Edge's WWE SummerSlam entrance cost him AEW appearance, Tony Khan talks inspiration he's gotten from Vince McMahon, truth behind Adam Cole's WWE Mattel stream appearance, Matt Hardy reacts to rumors of Adam Cole coming to AEW, AEW changed plans for very key spots this week on Dynamite, is Shinsuke Nakamura staying with WWE after contract expiration, Max Caster plugs new outside project after AEW controversy, and more. We're kicking off today with Brock Lesnar, who shocked everyone by returning at SummerSlam, as he hadn't been billed or even rumored for the show before appearing. Now fans will get to see much more of him, according to a report from Fightful Select that says Lesnar's new deal with WWE means he'll wrestle roughly 8 matches over the next year and a half, but that's always available to change, if Vince McMahon is willing to pay for the Beast to wrestle more. This new year-and-a-half deal will carry Lesnar through to early 2023, and possibly into WrestleMania 39, as he'd be a huge name to put onto the marquee. It's yet to be confirmed when his first of these 8 matches will happen, but it's expected that he'll challenge Universal Champion Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel 2021 this October in Saudi Arabia. Lesnar was away from WWE for 16 months before returning as a face and with a new look, and we'll have to see if the Beast wins yet another World Championship during any of these upcoming 8 matches. Lesnar wasn't the only huge return at SummerSlam, as Becky Lynch also returned last Saturday, capturing the SmackDown Women's title on her first night back. Both superstars returned to WWE ahead of schedule, and both will seemingly be on SmackDown for the near future, which has caused some serious problems for the USA Network. During the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast, Andrew Zarian said how the network isn't thrilled about how WWE has treated their roster, moving big names like Lynch and Lesnar to the Blue brand. They're not the only big names the USA Network has lost, as in 2019, Bray Wyatt was drafted to SmackDown, which was a huge loss to Raw. SmackDown's roster was already stacked before SummerSlam, and it'll be getting even bigger with the additions of Lesnar and Lynch, and we'll have to see if Raw can recover any big names during the upcoming WWE draft this October. Over to AEW Dynamite, as this week's show was CM Punk's first Dynamite since joining the company, but his appearance on the show didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. After the show, Punk joined Impact World Champion Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian and thanked the fans for their enthusiasm, saying he knows that tapings can sometimes be long. Adding that he's super grateful for the reception he's received, Punk relished in the moment, whilst Christian Cage called Punk joining AEW a quote, big deal. It's still surreal that after 7 years away from wrestling, fans can see CM Punk each week, and will have plenty of time to watch the best in the world thanks to his multi-year deal with AEW. Last month, WWE shockingly released Bray Wyatt despite the former Universal Champion still being massively popular with fans, and the former Fiend hasn't appeared since. Wyatt is already gone from WWE, and Adam Cole may be following him at midnight tonight when his contract expires, and it's been teased that he could be joining AEW when he can. Both the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega have teased Cole joining the roster, and now AEW has once again teased signing Wyatt and Cole, this time thanks to CM Punk. Eagle-eyed fans have spotted that since joining AEW himself, Punk has had initials written on his sneakers, with one pair having the initials AC and another BW. These are almost certainly references to Cole and Wyatt, and Punk has also teased Daniel Bryan joining AEW soon enough, and time will tell whether any of these men call AEW home later this year, or if Punk is once again messing with the fans, something that he was an expert in for years before eventually returning to the industry. Punk is hardly the only former WWE superstar in AEW, and this week was supposed to see another former WWE name make an appearance, but that didn't happen thanks to factors beyond the company's control. On his Fangin' and Bangin' podcast, former wrestler Gangrel said how he was supposed to debut at AEW's recent taping in Milwaukee, but that the company went into a different direction after Edge's Brood-themed entrance at SummerSlam 2021. Gangrel explained that he was really excited to be on AEW before he got the dreaded call from them, but that he thought Edge's entrance was great, even if it cost him a segment on TV. When Gangrel told Edge what happened, the Rated R superstar was very apologetic, and the Vampire said that it felt like Edge was gonna cry before he told him it was okay. Edge had no way to know that AEW was working on an entrance for Gangrel, as the two companies wouldn't be sharing plans, but the Hall of Famer's epic moment at SummerSlam led to Gangrel staying at home. The decision to have Gangrel on AEW was one made by Tony Khan, who remains AEW's ultimate decision-maker, much like Vince McMahon in WWE. Recently, WWE's president Nick Khan has said that WWE doesn't see AEW as competition and is spending all their efforts on their own product, but Tony doesn't quite buy it. In the past, AEW's Khan has said that Vince McMahon was an idol of his, and when asked by Dan Le Batard if the chairman cares about his product, AEW, Khan replied, "He does care. I read a lot of books about Vince. I never met Vince. There was a time when he was building his company in the 80s. I've tried to undertake a similar amount of work in terms of shouldering a ton of responsibility and taking a ton of one-on-one meetings. You hear about Vince going to convince Hulk Hogan, going to convince individual people to come and work for the WWF, convincing a sponsor to come on. Vince was taking all these meetings and all this responsibility, and he was a similar age to me, and I think I'm inspired by that." Khan added that he's taken a lot of inspiration from what Vince did in the 80s, saying that's how he's been able to convince so many people to join AEW, and said that the formation of the All Elite promotion is the biggest expansion in wrestling since McMahon launched his brand of sports entertainment 3 decades ago. Khan also gave Eric Bischoff a ton of credit, saying he took a money-losing business in WCW to a multi-million-dollar success, which is why AEW have refrained from trashing the now-defunct company. The AEW president may see a lot of himself in McMahon, but that doesn't mean that he thinks like the WWE chairman, as he made clear, "I'm not him. I try to wear some of the similar hats, especially that he wore when he was younger. As a fan of wrestling and somebody who loves wrestling, I always thought their shows were better when Vince wrote the shows in the backyard with his friends versus when they hired 25 writers to write shows. But that's neither here nor there. I really enjoyed putting the shows together, and through the pandemic, that was one of the things that I was able to actually get more organized on." AEW had a very difficult second year that no one could have expected ahead of time, and the fact that the very young company didn't just survive but thrive through unprecedented times goes to show just how well Khan has done as AEW's answer to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. At midnight tonight, Adam Cole's contract with NXT will expire unless he signs a new deal with the company. CM Punk has already teased that the former NXT champion will be heading to AEW, but before that, Cole has one last appearance to make as a WWE contracted employee. Later today, Cole and Johnny Gargano are set to take part of an Amazon livestream to promote WWE's next wave of action figures, but it's not as live as fans first thought. According to PW Insider, this livestream with the two was filmed several weeks ago, and Cole isn't actually doing this mere hours before his deal expires. It's expected that Cole will leave tonight as there's no word on him accepting a deal, but fans will get to see him one last time, albeit in a quote-unquote live appearance filmed weeks earlier. Several people Cole has worked with over the years are now in AEW, including Matt Hardy, who hasn't forgotten about the former NXT champion. On Twitter, Hardy dropped a Throwback Thursday photo of himself with Cole and teased that the Undisputed Era alum is coming to AEW. He said, "2014, lots of buzz on Adam Cole right now. I'm not surprised at all, he's one of the elite in this industry. Let's not forget, the Kingmaker Big Money Matt was his original mentor in ROH. Of course he's going to be a rock star." Cole may have deep ties with members of AEW's roster, but he also loves working with his heroes in NXT, such as Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And whatever happens next, his story in professional wrestling is far from over. More from AEW, and this week's episode of Dynamite was another huge success for AEW, but not everything that was planned for the 2-hour show made it to TV. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said how 2.0, aka WWE's Ever Rise, were meant to be on the show, but had to miss it for the best of reasons. He said, So what happened, and I don't know the whole story, but 2.0 were supposed to be in a key position on the show. So this is where I assume they were supposed to be, and Matt's wife gave birth, so they had to rearrange things very late in the game. From what I was told, those guys were going to be in a very key spot on the show that needed to be changed. Matt Lee has said that his wife was pregnant at the time of his release from WWE, but now the couple are proud parents as of this week. It's unclear what plans AEW had for 2.0, whether it was to wrestle or to be involved in a run-in, but we're sending our congrats to Matt Lee and his wife on this joyous occasion. Back to WWE, and despite many talents being released or leaving, Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura is here to stay, as he's just signed a new contract. That's according to Andrew Zarian, who didn't note how much time he signed on for, but said that after a career of hard work, Nakamura is happy to stay in WWE, which provides him a great source of income and wrestle a style that's much less dangerous than what would be expected of him in other promotions. Nakamura joined WWE in 2016 and has reigns as NXT, US, Intercontinental, and SmackDown Tag Team Champion to his name, and perhaps a world title is in his future now that we know he'll be sticking around. And we're ending today with Max Caster of The Acclaimed, who landed himself in hot water earlier this month when he mocked the mental health of Simone Biles and the Duke University lacrosse controversy. Since his infamous rap on AEW Dark, Tony Khan has said that he will be editing Dark and Dark Elevation, and now Caster has started a new project outside of the ring. In a tweet, Caster revealed that he's now on Cameo, offering personalized diss tracks for $150 each. This isn't the first time Caster's tried to make money out of the ring, and he was recently auctioning off his AEW in-ring gear, saying he wouldn't be needing it anymore, but ended the auction prematurely without anyone bidding. Caster hasn't been seen since his infamous rap, and The Acclaimed have both been pulled from matches and the AEW tag team rankings, and whatever the future holds for Max, he'll probably be extra careful with what he says on Cameo. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.